Welcome to today's Explainer. We are jumping right into a really fascinating review of Polymarket. If you follow forecasting, you probably already know it's a massive platform, but today we're unpacking this specific review to see how the mechanics hold up. We'll look at the features and objectively weigh the hype against the actual, very real financial risks. So let's get right into it. The reviewer actually opens with a killer question. Have you ever wished you could predict real-world events and, actually profit from being right? I mean, we all have our hunches on where the news is heading, right? But the core premise we're looking at today is what happens when those hunches are quantified, put to the test, and matched against the rest of the world. Okay, so here's our roadmap for the review. 1. Welcome to Polymarket. 2. Understanding prediction markets. 3. Key platform features. 4. Pros and financial risks. And finally, 5. The final verdict. Moving on to Section 2. Understanding prediction markets. So, as the review outlines, a prediction market is essentially an online hub where users trade on the outcomes of real-world events. It's meant to reflect collective expectations. Instead of buying shares in a traditional stock, you're buying a position on a specific question. Think Bitcoin price targets or election results. You put down capital based on what you genuinely believe is going to happen, establishing a quantified consensus.
The author makes a really sharp contrast here between these markets and your traditional opinion polls. Look, polls are static, they're survey-based, they take forever to conduct, and by the time you see them, they're basically a snapshot of the past. Prediction markets, on the other hand, are real-time and financially backed. Because people are literally putting their money where their mouth is, the market becomes this instant, live reflection of where the crowd is leaning at that exact second.
All right, Section 3, Key Platform Features. One of the biggest features highlighted in this review is just how broad the categories are. You aren't boxed into some tiny niche here. Users are trading on politics, crypto trends, tech breakthroughs, sports, and major world events. So whether you're a political junkie or a crypto trader, the platform acts as a centralized space to really test your foresight in some incredibly volatile arenas. And this brilliantly illustrates the platform's most dynamic feature, which is the live market pricing. You aren't waiting days for some new poll after a massive news story breaks. The market expectations shift instantly. As new info drops, participants react, and you can literally watch the probabilities change in real time to reflect the new reality. It's wild to watch. Section 4. Pros and Financial Risks. The reviewer is very quick to point out a distinct duality with Polymarket. On the pro side, it's super easy to navigate, it's beginner-friendly, the markets update continuously, and there's a highly active community. It's a genuinely fast, engaging experience. But the flip side, the financial risks are absolutely stark. The sheer speed of these markets means prices are incredibly volatile, which carries the very real, very blunt risk of losing your money. So, the crucial point here is how the reviewer groups these strict warnings for anyone thinking about jumping in. Step 1, you have to acknowledge the financial risk. This isn't a game or a simulation. Step 2, expect those fast-changing prices. Step 3, and this is absolutely critical, never risk money you can't afford to lose. And step 4, always do your own independent research. Let's wrap it up with Section 5, the final verdict. The author's ultimate takeaway is crystal clear. Polymarket is an incredibly engaging tool for analyzing probabilities and gauging global sentiment, especially if you're tracking crypto or world events. But they explicitly warn that it is absolutely not a guaranteed way to make money. It is a tool for observation. It's a place to test your analytical skills against the crowd, but definitely not a surefire investment strategy. For folks who have weighed those risks and still want to check it out, the reviewer does include their verified affiliate link to get started. Impartially speaking, this makes total sense for the source, considering the author regularly shares content and deals on AI tools, software, and platforms like this with their audience. Which brings us to our final thought for today. Are you ready to test your foresight, or are those financial risks simply too high for your blood? Prediction markets are undeniably a fascinating real-time window into collective human expectations, totally turning static news into living, breathing probabilities. But you have to respect the volatility. Thanks so much for joining me on today's Explainer. Keep questioning the consensus, and we'll catch you next time.